Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So today I feel a little bit of not a rant, because I just don't like the energy of that word. Anywho. Oh, I've got so much to say. Okay. So over the last couple of days, I've been watching Zac Efron's Down to Earth documentary. It's fucking amazing. It's on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. Okay. And one of the things that he said, and I'm not quoting him verbatim, but one of the things that he said is that, you know, he became successful very quickly, and he was like, holy shit. And he was like, what good is success if you can't make something good out of it? Or like you can't make a good impact or a strong impact in the world. And in my Mastermind Mafia, we've been talking about, you know, if you had to do something like, you know, like make $1,000 to save a family member or something, what would you do? Usually that would light a little fire under your butt and you would do it. I mean, like whatever it is, you would do it. Like, I'm going to go sell plasma, or I'm going to go sell all the crap in my garage, or I'm going to, you know, offer my services to people or whatever. And, you know, you have a temporary fire lit under your butt and you do what it takes, and you're not acting from a place of desperation or lack. You're acting from a place of determination. Like, I'm going to fucking get this done, come hell or high water. Whoa, you know, and you've got like ninja-like focus. And when life happens, when plot twists happen, those cosmic 2x4s get blasted upside of the head from our peeps, it's easy for us to go, oh, it's just not meant to be, blah, blah, blah. And we start telling ourselves this bullshit story why we can or can't do something, you know, and we start making up these excuses about, well, if I was just a little bit younger, or if I was looked this way or that way or whatever. Like today, I'm not wearing any makeup, and I know so many people don't make videos because they don't want to put makeup on. Make the fucking video. Like, what are you waiting for? Seriously. And, you know, so many times I see people use their life circumstances as an excuse not to get something done, or not to do something, and not to pursue their dreams. One time I had this fabulous conversation with someone, and she was talking about how when she became successful in her business, she was going to start volunteering for these, you know, like 3 charities that she really, really is passionate about. And I said, okay, so what's your version of success? Like, what is that marker that you're waiting for before you give yourself permission to go volunteer here? And she goes, oh, well, I want to make, you know, X number of dollars a month and to have a book written and all these other things. And I said, well, why don't you just start volunteering now? Like, what would that look like for you? Oh, well, I don't have the extra time and, you know, all these other things. And I'm just like, well, you have the same amount of time now as you're gonna when you make that amount of money and after you've written that book. And she's just like, oh yeah, you're right. That's like, we all have the same 24 hours. And so today I really want you to think about, what impact are you making in the world? Okay, some of you have businesses, some of you don't. I have a mixed bag of people in my community. I work with highly driven women and highly driven people who they know they're meant for more, and they know that they're made to create a ripple effect on the planet some way, somehow. And sometimes the ripple effect, the idea for the ripple effect, is just a little whisper. It's just that little wisp of an idea that we get, and we're like, ooh, huh, wow. And then it flourishes, it grows. And so today I want you to really think about what are you waiting for in your life? Everybody, every single one of you, I want you to just sit and say, what am I waiting for? Like, what do I want? Where am I right now? Where am I right now? Obviously right now I'm sitting in my office, boom. But what am I waiting to do? Am I waiting to learn French until the right time? The perfect time to learn French is now. Like, that's one of the things that I want to do is learn French because I'm French. Are you waiting to write that book until whatever? Are you waiting to start your podcast for some mile marker in your business or in your life? Are you waiting to take a trip to Brazil? And what are you waiting for? Like, what mile marker or success point has to happen in order for you to feel like, okay, now I have permission to do this because I've met this mile marker. And I'm here to tell you that mile marker is going to keep going and go. It's going to be that little thing out in the distance that you're never going to reach. And when you reach it, you're still not going to feel ready to go do that next thing, because when you reach that next level of success, what happens is you bust through that ceiling and then you just leveled up, honey. And all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, now what am I doing? I was actually sharing this with my Mastermind Mafia tribe, you know, how every expert was once a beginner. And think about like Pac-Man or Miss Pac-Man back in the day, you know, and you've got this game and you're just like, oh, cool, you know, and you're like going and going, and all of a sudden this, you know, little ghost comes and like nails your butt and you're like, crap, and you die. And you're like, oh my God, this is so hard. And then you nail it and you're like, yeah. Then you go to level 2. And then you suck at level 2, but with practice, you master it. And then you go to level 3 and you're like, oh God, it gets a little bit faster, a little bit more, just a little bit more of everything. And you're like, oh my God. And then you like die a bunch of times and you keep practicing and then you get better and then you level up and then you're like, oh shit, Every time you level up in life, you're going to have those oh shit moments. You're going to have those moments where you're like, oh my God, like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why is this so hard? Or why is this so confusing? Or why do I keep failing? Which is, we don't fail, we just have discoveries. Those moments of discovery of what works and what doesn't work. And so when you can recognize that when something is easy for you, when something, like you've mastered something, that's perfect, but don't let yourself stagnate. Don't let yourself just say, okay, here's that one thing on way out there that I've been waiting to get to, and now that I'm here, okay, that's it. That's not the kind of people that I attract. Like I said, I attract really highly driven people who know you are meant to create that ripple effect. So when life throws that plot twist where you're on track to hit that mile marker and you're like, yeah, I'm doing it, and then all of a sudden, this cosmic 2x4 gets shoved up the side of your head, and like COVID or the quarantine or whatever, and then you're just like, fuck, okay, so there goes my income, or there goes this, or there goes that, and then all of a sudden now that's your excuse to stop? No. What else is possible in that moment? What is the opportunity in this perceived obstacle? When you can find the opportunity in the obstacle or the perceived obstacle that you have right in front of you, what happens is all of a sudden you can make magic happen. I've got a client of mine whose mom was in the linen industry. She had like a wedding linen, like she provided tablecloths and napkins for weddings and graduations and all this other stuff. And her business all of a sudden came to a screeching halt during COVID, because obviously we can't gather. And so she reached out to me. She's like, what do you think about like the mask thing? Like, should we make masks and whatever? And I'm just like, yeah, test it out. Like, go for it. And so at first she was going to make mask kits so that she could send them and people could sew them themselves. And I'm just like, well, that there is a barrier there because some people may not want to actually sew their own masks. So she, so they're like, fuck it, we're just going to test it. And she made bank. I think she made like $2,000 in 1 week. Or no, I think it was actually even more than that. But it was crazy. It was just crazy. And she was like, holy shit. And where there was an obstacle for her, she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do because my business has completely dried up. What am I going to do? And we allowed we we put our heads together. We're just like, let's just test out what happens. Because she's like, well, I'm kind of playing around with ideas. I'm like, just go test it out. See if it works. Because if you test it and it flops, there you go. Then you know. But if you test it and it works, keep going. Lean into it. When you recognize the opportunity held within an obstacle, all of a sudden, the world is your oyster. Truly, the world is your oyster. But you have to be willing to get over your ego, get over yourself, and know that every single one of us literally is in the same boat. We are all on planet Earth. We are all here just trying to be happy and just trying to create a positive ripple effect out on the planet. Every single one of the people that follows me has that drive and that little something something within you. You know you're meant to create that ripple effect. But I'm here to tell you, if you wait for these mile markers to happen, you're going to be waiting forever. You have to make the magic happen yourself. You have to get up and decide, this is what I'm going to try today. And you might fall flat on your face, and that's totally okay. Get up, try again, test it out. But when you drop the ball and you give up on yourself for something, I want you to ask yourself, what else are you giving up on? What else? What other commitments have you committed to yourself, saying, I'm committed to doing this? And then you flake on yourself is really what you're doing. How often do you do that? And if you flake on yourself, I'm sure other people see this. I'm sure other people can recognize, oh, well, she's just being her. Or they're just being them. So people are going to start to not trust you if you commit to doing something and then you drop the ball. Commit to doing something and then drop the ball. They're going to be like, oh, that's a repeat pattern. Nope. And this is something that you can change, you can shift. If you are tired of dropping the ball and you're like, you know what? I'm so fucking committed this time. I'm going to fucking do it. Give yourself permission to recognize that mile marker out there is one of many. It's one of many. And you don't have to reach a certain mile marker of success before you do your passion projects, like volunteer someplace or whatever. You don't have to wait for those mile markers to happen. Because the truth of the matter is that when you make a priority of, well, this is my mission, like this is what I want to do, and I also am really passionate about this, and you marry those together and you do them, what happens is what you do for a living, like your passion that you're doing, is going to be expanded exponentially because of what you do over here, that passion project. It feeds each other. I really want you to hear that again, okay? So this is your life's work. Like this is like your business that you run, your company, your profession, your career, whatever it is, and you're sitting over here churning away and you're waiting for a mile marker to happen before you do this passion project, before you volunteer for this charity or that charity or do whatever. And this kind of feels a little bit lackluster. But I'm here to tell you that when you say, okay, this is always going to be here. I'm just going to keep blowing and going. It's going to be awesome. But I'm also going to devote some of my time for this and this cause that really matters to me. Then what happens is this is going to fuel this. And this is not going to feel like you're just churning and burning. You're not going to feel burnt out. You're not going to feel like, oh, fuck, when is success going to finally come? All of a sudden, this fuels this, and you start to raise that momentum. You start to create a bigger ripple effect. And all of a sudden, true magic happens in your life. So today, you need to, and I rarely ever say need, I usually only say recommend, but you need to Get over the ego story that's telling you that you have to reach these mile markers of success before you give yourself permission to do these other things. Because these other things will fuel what it is that you do for the planet and what it is that you do for the world. Okay? So, I'm offering some free sessions. If you are interested in getting my one-on-one help with this is a no strings attached complimentary session. I want to help you figure out what your passion projects are and how they can help you fuel what it is that you're currently doing. Okay? So, click the link in the comments. Let's talk. I'm here to help and support you. My passion project is to help you create a life that you are so excited about that you just cannot stop talking about it. And one day you're going to stop and ask yourself, why the hell am I so happy? That is what I'm here to help you do. Okay? So click the link. Let's talk. I hope that this serves you today. Mwah.